The Sendiass North Yorkshire Snapshot webinar on Education, Health and Care Plan Annual Reviews, more than just a meeting. You will see from our title that this process involves more than the meeting itself, and this webinar will give you more information about what should happen and when it should happen. Requirement to review. The Special Educational Needs Code of Practice 2015 says that EHC plans should be used to actively monitor children and young people's progress. They must be reviewed by the local authority as a minimum every 12 months. This means that when your child has an education, health and care plan, it's important that this is reviewed at least once every year, and as you can see, the regulations say that this must happen. But what is the purpose of an annual review and how should it be carried out? The purpose of an annual review is to monitor progress towards outcomes specified in the EHCP and long-term goals, to consider whether the outcomes are still appropriate, to gather and assess information, to review the special educational provision, to consider if the EHCP is still appropriate, to set new targets for the coming year, to agree new outcomes if appropriate, to review any shorter-term targets set by the educational setting. The overall purpose is to ensure that the contents of the plan are still relevant and are helping your child or young person to make progress towards the outcomes and their aspirations. This is your at least yearly opportunity to look closely at the plan and make sure that it is helping your child or young person to achieve what they would like to be able to do moving into adulthood. Transition between phases of education. An example of this is the move from secondary school to post-16 education. The SEN Code of Practice says that the annual review and any amendments, including the name of the educational setting they will attend the following September, must be completed by the 15th of February in that year. Young people moving from secondary school to further education or training must have this process completed by the 31st of March. For children moving from primary to secondary or from secondary to post-16 education, it is worth talking to the SENCO in the autumn term of Year 11 or Year 6 to make sure that their review is planned in for that term in order to have the EHCP amended by the 15th of February or the 31st of March of the following calendar year. Some schools are organising these reviews in the summer term of Year 5 or Year 10 in order to gain some extra time to make sure that things will be in place for the transition. The annual review process should start 4 weeks before the meeting takes place. Invitations giving 2 weeks notice of the meeting. You or your young person will be invited to the meeting. Other professionals who are involved from a range of services will also be invited to share up-to-date information. If there is anyone in particular you want to be invited or to provide information, let the school know. If your child receives a service from social care, it is helpful for their social care review to happen at the same time. Seeking views from all parties. Everyone should be asked 4 weeks before the meeting. The educational setting will ask for views from everyone involved and they should send this out at least 2 weeks before the meeting. More about this on the next slide. Then there is the meeting itself, which is usually held at the educational setting. You or your young person have the right to request a personal budget during the review process. A personal budget can give greater choice and control of provision, and you can find more information about this at contact.org.uk. After the meeting, you, the local authority and anyone else who attended the meeting will be sent the review paperwork within 2 weeks. What happens next? The local authority will look through the paperwork and make one of 3 decisions, either to leave the plan unchanged, to amend the plan or to cease the plan. They have 4 weeks from the date of the annual review to let you know of their decision. Your views matter, so it's important to do some preparation. Invitations at least 2 weeks before the meeting date. You and your child or young person are a very important part of this meeting, and the educational setting must invite you or your young person. Seeking views. The educational setting will ask for advice from everyone involved. This information should be shared at least 2 weeks before the meeting. When giving your views, it's important to think about the progress that has been made towards the outcomes in the plan. If progress hasn't been made in some areas, what needs to change? For example, are new strategies needed? Is the placement still appropriate? Has your child or young person had any new assessments or observations? Have any new needs been identified? Have any of the outcomes been achieved? Try to ensure that your views and those of your child or young person are included. Views of children and young people can take many forms, including the written word, photographs, audio or visual recording, symbols, etc. Preparing for adulthood. The SEN Code of Practice says local authorities must ensure that the EHC plan review at Year 9 and every review thereafter includes a focus on preparing for adulthood. It can be helpful for EHC plan reviews before Year 9 to have this focus too. The Year 9 review should discuss further training, learning or employment, living independently, planning health services and support to maintain good health, developing independent skills such as using transport, being included in community activities, developing relationships, etc. As part of this review, you could ask for an assessment of care needs in preparation for adulthood. What should happen after the annual review? 4 weeks from the date of the annual review meeting, the local authority should let you know their decision to leave the plan unchanged, or to amend or change the plan, or stop the plan. If they leave the plan unchanged, the plan will continue as before. If they want to amend the plan, this should be done without delay, but there isn't a time limit for this. You will be sent the original EHCP and the suggested amendments. You have 15 calendar days to respond or comment, and you can ask for a particular educational setting to be named in the plan. You can request a meeting with your SEN caseworker to discuss the amendments. Within 8 weeks of sending the proposed amendments, the local authority must issue an amended plan or let you know that they are not going to amend the plan after all. If they want to cease the plan, this can only happen when all the outcomes have been achieved, where a young person doesn't want to continue in further education or training, or when a young person goes to university, or when the young person is over the age of 25. We hope that the information in this webinar has been helpful. For further information, check out the Sendiass North Yorkshire website at sendiassnorthyorkshire.co.uk. You could also look at our fact sheet on annual reviews. You will find this on our leaflets and fact sheets page on our website. If you want further advice, please contact us via our advice line or through the Facebook and Twitter pages through the link on our website. If you would like to learn more and attend our free workshop on annual reviews, please contact the Parent Carer Voice to register for the course. Their contact details are on screen. If you have enjoyed this webinar and found it useful, please complete the feedback form on our website. Thank you.